How you doing, Mr. Malcolm? Or would you let me call you father?
You don't matter, brother.
Alright, you know, I'm not sure how old you is because you're young. You would think, maybe you're my brother.
Yeah.
But you had me and a couple more kids. And I've always said that everybody knows that you've always taken care of us to the best of your abilities and always make sure that we got a good head on our shoulders. You always made sure that we don't limit ourselves or believe in boundaries. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, you know, you're doing this and you're doing this and you're doing this. Oh, that's too much. You can't handle that because you're not giving everything 100%. People always said, what are you talking about? Only a lazy man says stuff like that.
Let me tell you something, bro. All you have in this world is time.
Okay.
It's time. And if you divide the day, 3/8 is 24. You only need maybe 8 hours of sleep. So you can do 2 jobs, 2 8-hour jobs and take 8 hours sleep. So you have time. But even before you fall asleep, you can use time to create a whole different day in your mind. And the next day you put it into action.
I mean, growing up with you, you've been so many things. You've done so many things. I mean, honestly, man, you have certificates for everything. And even now, you're still... Did you already do your psychology? Did you already pass that? Or you're still studying psychology? We're Jamaican, of course. Born and raised in Jamaica. You, at an early age, told me to come here for better opportunities to better myself and everything. You saw the American dream, even though you were in Jamaica.
I never see an American dream. And a lot of people mistake that for a lifestyle. I never seen an American dream. Because Jamaica is this, you know, a third world country, you can reach that far and no more. You got a house, you got a car, you got a degree, you got a job, paying the bills. You start to wonder what next. But coming to another country, and not even only America, but other countries, they have other things that you can move a step forward. And that's the thought when I came, like, hey, I'm going to use this as a stepping stone. So when I tell you to come as a young kid, I know that, you know, there are boundaries that you can cross being a young kid and you have youth in your favor. So that was my whole idea for you to come here and to evolve into something that you could never have thought of. As I was telling you the other day about exposure. You are exposed, you go to even a club and somebody mentions something and you wait a minute, I could do that. But if you stay home, you wouldn't have heard it. So just get out there and being exposed. Wake you up. You know, and I know you've come to this country and you might have thought about, oh, because of the older people here, they tell you about white people and all that crap. There's no boundaries. There's no boxed in as a young individual. There's no limit to life. You can do anything you want as long as you have the time and health. So if you have to work old, you know, when I was a kid, there was this memory verse at school that says, the heights by great men reached and kept were not attained by sudden flight. But they, while their companions slept, they were toiling upwards through the night. As a kid, that meant nothing to me. But when I grew up, I realized that the heights by great men that is reached and kept, and the operative word in that is kept, was not attained by sudden flight. But while their friends and companions slept, they were working either their brain or their hand, their heart, or their body through the night to evolve in something else. And you can think about a whole lot of ways to make wealth, but you gotta be positive in a way to keep it.
So basically what you're saying is that don't squander your time. The time that your friends spend squandering, you could actually put that into making something as long as you have a direction that you're working for.
Let me tell you something, and I'm going to tell you again. The most important thing you have is time. Listen, I come here in 2005, and I can basically tell you I drive around the entire United States. And most time I ride by myself. And you know what I use that time to do? To think, evaluate myself, to think, what did I do wrong yesterday? What can I do tomorrow to make myself a better person? Because of time. A journey. I drive from South Carolina to Las Vegas. That's a lot of miles. You know, you have a GPS tell you continue on I-70 for the next 1,200 miles. Hey, that's a lot of miles. But those journey is shortened by my brain power, which I use to think, to know what I'm gonna do when I reach Las Vegas. I'm on my way back. Sometimes I don't have no thought process on my way back. I flew back because it's a long time.
As far as just growing up and watching you always working at some new venture or something you're exposed to made you open your mind and want to do this and want to do that. I mean, even the construction thing, carpentry. You didn't have a dad in your life, a steady father, but yet you gave us all the love and direction we need, and I'm pretty sure better than we would have if it was anybody else. And you chose to stick around and stay, and as much as we put you through, you still stuck around, you still guide us. But how is it that you not having a father was able to, you know, make that happen or bridge that gap to?
Because that was the worst thing in my life, not having a dad. And what I didn't want is for my kids not to have a dad. So I pushed myself to the limit to make sure that my kids have a dad. You know, your brother Nehru, I can't even find him. And it's some selfishness because of his mom. Why she tried to keep him. Remember the last time we were look for him?
Yeah, Thanksgiving.
We
After
talked
she
to him in
complained.
Fort Lauderdale, and by the time we reached there, she stopped answering her phone. Even last week, we went down to Fort Lauderdale. Me and Carl went down there. We went to the church that his mother went. We tried to find him. I talked to the pastor. It's her uncle. We try to find the kid. We can't. No matter how I try to reach out to her, she never returned my calls. But that's on her. I know I'm going to run into my son one day. And you know what? I'm going to tell him what it is. Because I think the only thing I'm living for right now is for my kids. Because I've been there. And I've done that. I've been with kings and queens, places here and there and everywhere. And I can say I've been there, done that. For me, it's over. For my kids, it's now. And I'm doing my best.
I just feel like she's over there poisoning his mind, telling him his dad left him and he didn't care enough to stay and all that stuff. And he's going to grow up with that hate in his heart. And he doesn't know what he missed out on. There was a time you guys came up and all of us at grandma's house in Little Haiti, you came to the park, you're playing wrestling with all of us. You beat all of us. I remember you gave Eric a headache because you used your chest to press his head in the ground. You caught me in a somersault or whatever. Gave me a clothesline. All that. It was at least like 10 of us. And even till this day, we all remember that day. They remember that day. After you were done, he was like, all right, look, y'all go to the store, get some Chinese rice, and get some juice, and we all gonna sit down and eat together. And, you know, you had to take off again. But that one day, everybody had that moment with you.
You see, it goes back to the fact that I told you, Omar, all you have in this world is time. That's why you can remember it. Time spent with your dad. You know, use your brain power. No matter what you do, you work, you play, it comes right back to time. Because when it's over, it's over.
Do you believe in reincarnation?
I didn't want to answer this question because it's going to take us to a whole different level.
Okay.
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay. Is there anything in life you wish you could do over?
You know what? I even made mistakes in my life. And if I had a chance again, I'd do the same shit the same way. I tell you.
I feel the same way.
I didn't regret 1 minute of my life. And if I got a chance, I'll make the same mistake. As a matter of fact, I'll start them sooner. So I could have pushed a few more mistakes in that shit to bring me here today. Yeah, I have no regrets about my life. God has been good to me. He has blessed me. And let me tell you, all the things I did, if I get a chance to do them over, I just asked for a few days earlier so I could make the same mistakes over and over again and all the good I've done.
You
One thing though, if I could change like your mom,
don't
you know, I could flip it around and have a different baby mama. You know, you get you from a different baby. I could change it.
don't do that. You gonna hurt her feelings, man.
I don't care.
I don't know who did grandma teach you how to cook, or where you learn how to cook from?
You see, as kids back home, what we used to do back home is we get home, we'd cook until the mom get here or the dad get here or whatever, because we gotta eat.
Right.
So we have to cook. We were just forced into cook. So mostly Jamaicans, we can cook because we know we cook for it to taste good. And if they complain today, you want to do it better tomorrow. So cooking is like a part of my culture. We just learn to cook. You know, we cook food that don't have no name. You know, in America they have like, you know, spaghetti and meatballs. No, we just cook, and it's fish and dumpling. You know, there's no name for it. It's just cooking. So I learned to cook from a tender age. And one time I remember my mom get a fish. It was an ugly fish. I don't remember the name of it, but it was a real ugly fish. You have to take the head off to cook it. But I always loved that fish, man. I cook it with some pepper. She couldn't even eat the pepper. She cried and watched me eat all of it. You know, so cooking is it's a fun thing. I tell my friends most time, I said, listen, if you go to Jamaica, you can have, if you go for a month, you can have 90 different meals. You ain't gonna remember the name of it. You just have to remember a little special thing about it, like, oh, it was green and spicy. You know, so.
You got a lot of siblings. Jesus. I mean, we got, Uncle Octum, Auntie Enid, Auntie Janet, Auntie Daki.
It's the wrong way. I'm the last of 7. That's the thing.
Okay, do the countdown.
I'm the last of 7. I think Enid was the first, Daki, Janet, Sunshine, Birdie,
R.I.P. Uncle Birdie.
Yeah, baby.
Otto, and me. I think I was the last of 7.
Okay.
But then I grew up taking care of all of them.
The baby.
Yeah, I grew up taking care of all of them. I don't take much. I mean, Daki and Enid, they're like grown doing their thing. But I take care of the rest of my family. That's my Christmas. I send money to like cousins that I don't know, nephews that I don't know, you know,
Right.
nieces that I don't know. And that's my Christmas present. That makes me happy to know I can take care of them. They want something, I send it to them. And they look up to me. I think that's why God have me here, because I take care of them. They depend on me. And that's what I like best about me, that I take care of those who need me.
Do you ever get tired of like taking care of people? Or I remember there was a time, I don't remember how old I was. You came to see me at grandma's house, your mom, and you let Mikey borrow your car, and he was supposed to take it for an hour, and he didn't
come back.
He didn't come back till about like 6 hours later. Sun went down, and you was pissed.
Because you know what? I didn't tell you. I got like $100,000 in that fucking trunk of my car. I didn't know what was happening. I was fucking crazy about it.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
Grandma never seen you curse. That was the first time she seen you curse like that. And we had to try to fight to get a machete out your hand.
I was gonna beat the shit out of it because that's the problem. That was it right there.
But I mean, do you ever get tired of helping people? Like, you ever feel like, you know, you help people, and that's another thing I've been learning through life is that they said no good deeds gets unpunished. I never knew what that meant. But the older I get now, I start to see like you help some certain people at a certain time in your life, and you end up paying the price. Like if you had something to do that day, you had to go pick somebody up. You couldn't do that because he got the car. You know what I mean? But you get tight at all, just being like, man, I'm tired of helping people because they be biting me in my ass. You know?
No, that's what I live for, to help people. You know, I'll cut my list down, but I'm gonna help somebody. Because let me tell you something that you don't know. Are you going to church, boy?
No, I went recently.
You need to go to church because God is good and God is good all the time. Let me tell you something that you don't know. The more you give is the more you get. The more you give from the heart, you can't imagine what you're going to get. Let me tell you something. If you wear... Remember I come to Jamaica and I drove to look for a friend. He liked my shoes. I give it to him and I come home barefooted.
Yeah.
That's it. Cara go to the store. She buy me 2 pairs of shoes. One black and one brown. The same thing. You know, the more you give, the more you're going to get.
Why?
He owes you. He said somewhere in, I think it's in Malachi, like, he said, God said, prove me now. He put it to the test. He said, prove me now if I will not open the windows of heaven and pour you out blessings that you don't even have room to receive it. So if this is your room, God said if you give, he's telling you, like, if you give to people who need it, I'm going to pour some shit in this room. You got to open the window and have some in your backyard. And you know what? He can't lie. He's not wired that way. So if you give, he owes you. God is going to give you back more than you give, especially if you give it from your heart without no frown. You know, you don't want to give nobody nothing and say, this lady nigga come beg me every time. No, you want to give them some and be blessed. So that you want to do it. Out of nowhere, somebody who you never know, you walk into a situation, somebody said, you want a half a cow? You know this guy right now has a half a pig for me to get. I love pork. I don't even go pick it up yet. You understand me? Mm. And those are blessings that I don't have to buy no pork. This man is giving me a half a pig. You might not see it as a blessing, but to me it is because I love pork. Okay. So if you give, trust me, you're going to get. Or you can knock God's door and say, what happened? I give because he owe you. You know what I mean?
Right.
You tell the security, hey, I want to see God. You say, what? You say, yeah, I need to tell him, hey, I'm Omar. And you're going to say, let him in. You knock it. What happened? I give. He said, Omar, I might just miss you, but tomorrow you get it. He owes you. He's going to give you.
What makes your faith so strong?
Because I prove it so many times. I prove it so many times. I proved it so many times. I go to church, you know, they say you give 1/10 of your earnings. Mm-hmm. So if you make $1,000, you give $100 to the church. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you something. When I make like $100, okay, instead I give $10,
you give the whole 100.
I give 20 or 40
to get back more.
And I look at God like, you know what that is, right? I lend you my 40. At the end of the day, he know he owe me, gonna pay me back next week. I make so much money. Like, okay, here, Clive, you know, right, I owe you. He does it so many times, he does it that I can tell you that, hey, if it's your last and you feel led to give it to God, just give it to him. He owe you. He's going to call in one for you. Listen, man, I drive so many times, so many long journey. Sometimes I reach the destination, I don't know how I get there. I slept all the way. I drive and I hear people snoring. I look around in my backseat like, who's that? It's me. You know what I mean? Who do you think did that for me?
God.
Yes, because he owes me. He protects me. So that's where I have so much faith that I can tell you, if you give to God, you're going to get. So I might not get some blessing in my house like falling throughout the road, but he protects me on the highway. I can guarantee you it's going to work. Amari, you're my son. I never told you wrong. You know, there was a time when you disrespected me. You called my phone from Florida. I have no idea that was you. Because there's no way I could know you calling from that number. I had just left Florida. Clients were calling me from there, and I keep telling them, okay, I'll come back when I know I'm coming back. So I stopped answering their numbers. You called me. I didn't take your call, and you called me back to tell me. Like, you know it was me. I get mad because you want me to. I know you want me to pay your phone bill, and you get so mad. And you were going on and on and on and on. And I said to you, Omar, let me stop you for a minute. And I told you, I said, hey, never forget that conversation. I said to you, there's only one commandment that God gives with a promise. And it's that you honor your parents and the Lord. Obey your parents and the Lord. And you know what happened? You said something else, and I said, okay, you crossed the line. I hung up my phone. The next day, Sammy called me and told me you're in jail.
For real?
Yeah. Wow. Because the only promise, the only command with a promise that God gives is that you obey your parents. You said it, and I said, hey, you crossed the line. I hung my phone up, and the next, my phone from Florida was Sammy, your uncle, telling me you were arrested. That was so quick, it is the next day. But listen, I'm still your dad. And if you're 50 years old and I'm alive, I'm still going to be your dad. You know?
Always.
I went to a car lot one day and I was talking to this gentleman, but I had called your house and Dennis told me you went to Walmart to buy a snowboard for your kids. And I was saying, snowboard?
Yeah.
What the hell are you doing with a snowboard for the kids in the winter?
Right.
They don't need to be on a snowboard. And I said to you, hey, you take it back, send me the receipt by text that you return it. And before I left that parking lot, you sent me the receipt that you return it.
It's because you're my dad, Pop.
The man said to me at the parking lot, he said, I heard a conversation, sir, but how old is that kid? And I told him how old it was. And he sent you a receipt with a return receipt that he took that skateboard back. He said, listen, man, I don't know him. I showed him a picture of you. He said, man, I would give you 2 of mine for him. He wanted to swap you right there. He said he would give me 2 of his kids for you. Because his kids are not like that.
Like
and that elevated me. That made me feel proud.
I mean,
One time I talked to you when you got so mad. And you were talking to Cara in the night like, oh, he disrespected me. I heard the conversation on her phone and she didn't want me to hear. She pushed me away, but I heard what you were saying. When she was done, I said, what I like about that conversation, he's having that with you and not me. Yeah.
Man, let me tell you. Well, even for me, you know, you raised me, especially, to never let anybody disrespect me, never let anybody talk crazy to me. And they got to a point that I grew up with that same mentality. So sometimes, even when you know you're doing it because you see something might happen bad, or you're doing it to, like, the same time, you know, we'll go back to that. But you're doing it so that way you see something that I don't see yet. So you're trying to protect me, but it's the way you say it. Sometimes it gets me frustrated, and I lash out. But like I told you, no matter how many times I've talked to you crazy or we've had our disagreements, I always have respect for you. You know what I mean? I'm always glad you're alive for me to talk to. I'm pretty sure you remember the time that I was in high school and we had that conversation when I was just like this close to just start fighting everybody. You know what I mean?
Remember when you wanted to fight me one time when I tried to cut your hair?
We'll leave that out.
I told that story so many times.
We'll leave that out. The
I said
the
to you,
interview.
hey,
Yeah.
cut your hair. You told me, hey, man, listen, I'm not cutting no hair. That's why they call me old. And Dawn said, I said to you, hey, listen, this is what we're going to do. If you beat me, I'll be your bitch. I'll wash your sneakers, I'll clean your shoes and all of that shit. Before long, you were outside, you were ready to fight me. I took that gun up, I said, I'm going to shoot you in your leg. And Dawn said, yeah, you better shoot it. I walked to the door and I look at you and I said, yeah, this boy ready to fight me. You were doing a bench press of like 300 pounds. I said, okay, I'm going to shoot him. And then some said to me, don't shoot your son. I walked up there and I twist your neck.
That was quick on you. I didn't see that coming. I'll tell you that much.
Before long, you plug that shave up and you bring that wire and say, trim me. I wanted to shave even your eyebrows off.
You looking
Yeah, the
like
boys
clean.
with you trying to put their hair like you, trying to dreads too. And I said, no. But you know the funny part? I tell you, no, now that your hair was cut, I said, okay, you're going to wear slacks to school. You didn't have any, you wear mine. You dressed up in my plaid shirt, you went to school and came back. And you walk into the house that evening and you're like, hey, Dad, what? Good evening. And you went to your room and I said, no, come here. The story changed because you were excited to talk to me, but you changed it. And you said, man, let me tell you something. When I walked to school this morning, the teacher said, good morning, Mr. Malcolm. And you saw the difference. Make that difference in the life of your kids. I'm going to go eat.
All right. That was a nice interview.
Let's see later. Edit it and cut the shit out and let's see later.